Why does my husband? Good grief.
Take so long
crazy.
to poop.
Is it normal for my doctor to...
We're skipping that one. No, that's not normal. How do I make my cat an emotional support animal?
Oh my gosh,
You don't. And she said, it freaking stinks. She used other words, but it freaking stinks when you figure that out. And you just figured that out, girl. And so that's what we're talking about today. I will say, just for my privacy and other privacy concerns, what's up? It is episode 33. And last I checked, there's 700, we're over 700 subscribers now. So welcome.
Sweet.
Yeah, to all the new people, super glad you guys are here. If you don't know, one thing that we do on this podcast is laugh first. That's our structure. It's how we survive. And so we always start out with laughter. Timestamp will be below if you're not into laughing, and you can skip forward to the juicy stuff, which today is going to be kind of a new event story that we are going to talk about.
Sure.
But for now, we're going to play a new game, which is guessing what auto-populates on Google.
Why does my husband? Good grief.
Take so long to poop.
No. You want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah.
Why does my husband hate me?
That's sad.
It
That's
says-
from all my search results.
This one.
You didn't even catch that.
Well, yeah, I called it, but I hope that's not.
I'm joking.
case.
I asked
was
Claude.
Like, oh my gosh,
Just
I'm
kidding.
sure you do ask Claude.
I don't.
God, that third one too. Why does my husband fart so much? That's so
Okay, well,
funny.
that one, it's closer.
funny.
Are there any about pooping?
No. How do I? Let's see.
Wait, don't tell me I have to guess. How do I make more money?
Nope.
Okay, what is it?
How do I watch the World Cup? That's literally the first thing that pops up.
Okay, well, what's the second one? Because that would be more like normal.
How do I restart my phone?
Guys,
No, that's actually a legitimate good one.
no, it's not.
The newer iPhones, they change how you do it every single time. It used to be one button you used
It's
to hold
still that
down.
way.
No, it's not.
Bet.
No, it is. I had to do it with my coworker.
Are you talking about just powering it off?
I'm talking about doing how do I restart my phone? An actual legitimate either power off or full reset. Yeah.
Well, those are
different
two
now.
totally different things.
Well, yeah, that's true. They are. But it's different now. It's
No,
different now.
it's not.
Yeah, it
I don't
is.
believe you.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe you.
It is too.
Okay, why do women? You gotta guess.
Gosh.
Why do women?
Uh,
I just read the.
what? Probably the second and third one.
I was reading the first one.
Okay. Why do women put on makeup? No. Was I
Why do
close?
women have periods?
Oh, okay. Well,
The second one, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's why do women wear? I'm sorry if I'm butchering this. Hijabs, and I could be wrong, but I think that's the head wrap covering their hair.
oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And then the third one is why do women get UTIs?
Well, all right then.
Why do women have periods? Ask your parents. Okay.
Yes, please do. How do I tell my kids?
This one has to be sad, but getting a divorce.
No. That's actually number 3.
Okay.
You did good though. It's
What's
on
the
the
first
list.
one?
This one's awful.
Is it?
Like,
Is it too bad to read?
It's sad. Like, it's really sad.
What is it?
How do I tell my kids I have cancer? It's awful.
That is really sad.
Yeah. Yep.
Good grief.
The second one's even worse. I don't even know that I can even say that.
Just say it and I'll cut it if not.
How do I tell my kids their dad died?
Oh, that's really terrible. What
Like,
about the mom?
no, it doesn't come out.
Do men
This
die
is
faster
all-
than women?
Huh?
Well, yeah, that was a stupid question because y'all do dumb things.
Well,
Right?
yeah. Well, everybody does.
That's some
dumb
dark humor
things.
coming out right now.
Yeah, everybody does dumb things. But number 3, I mean, that's what
I mean,
you
I
said.
don't, but okay.
Well, okay. Well, again, how do I tell my kids we're getting a divorce? That's number 3. And then number 4, How do I tell my kids Santa isn't real? That one's
See,
me.
those are more fun.
Yeah,
Why
that's what
can't that
I
one
was
be
expecting it to be fun. I don't know.
yeah.
What is... Gosh, I'm starting to worry about people. That's what I mean,
Just
look at
now?
No, but like literally number 3 is how do I tell my kids we're getting a divorce? Number 5,
I'm shocked that one was at number 1.
how do I tell my kids we are separating? Like what is this? Are you searching for stuff on here?
I don't actually use Google on this. I had to search for
Gosh.
the app.
I'm just kidding, by the way. I'm just like, that's like
This
sad.
one has got to be more fun. Okay.
That's like full depression mode.
Yeah, this one has to be more fun.
Is it normal for my doctor to...
We're skipping that one. I had a extra one built in just in case anything weird popped up.
that one did, for sure.
Doctors out there, I don't know what's happening, but no, that's not normal. Unless, they're your OB-GYN and there's another person in the room. Or your urologist or your gastroenterologist, unless there's another person in the room.
We need to delete that app you got on the phone. Holy moly, that thing's like...
It's Google.
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't even use Google. What? First of all, who uses Google with AI?
I guess
But
these people do.
how do I make my cat? Your turn to guess.
Oh my goodness gracious. How do I make my cat get out of the tree?
No, but that's decent. How do I make my cat an emotional support animal?
Oh my goodness gracious.
You don't.
No, you don't.
You don't. And then the next one's how do I make my cat throw up?
Boy.
How do I make my cat a service animal? You don't. Cats don't care if you live or die.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, that's funny.
This one, goodness knows what's going to pop up.
I'm scared a
on there.
little bit, but we'll see.
Why are kids... Okay. Go ahead and guess the first one.
So disobedient.
No. Why are kids saying 6, 7?
I should have gotten that.
Yeah.
But according to our almost 12-year-old son, that is last year, even though he still does it.
I have no idea. I've seen
It's
him
so
do it
stupid.
still. Yeah, I've seen him do it still. So
You want to do it to all the parents in the world, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, and see what your kids do? They probably just all went nuts.
yeah, probably.
So annoying. Stop doing that, children.
Yeah, exactly. What you got?
I was gonna say because of the doctor one that was weird.
Yeah,
There was one on there that I got rid of, which was why does my kid's doctor?
It's probably a good
like,
idea.
no
yeah.
way.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
What is the best?
Oh, I'm supposed to guess. I forgot.
Yeah.
Was the
These are all pretty good. All
country in
appropriate.
the World Cup?
No.
Come on! Of all the ones that could have been World Cup,
No, it's the most random one in the world.
I don't know.
What is the best sleeping position? Yeah.
On your side? I don't know.
That's the way I sleep.
I don't
but
think
hey,
there's a. I don't know. Ask Dr. Mike. But
I don't know. That's the way I sleep. I don't know. It's a good question.
is the World Cup one on there anywhere?
No. You've got what is the best allergy medicine?
Okay.
What is the best Sprite in Fortnite? I don't even know what that means. What is the best magnesium to take? What is the best credit card to have? Yeah.
None.
Yeah. So they're all.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all that way.
That's actually really funny.
Well, all of them.
Okay,
are
well
really
let's
good.
do a spin on it. Let's do the worst.
Oh boy.
Okay. But this time, instead of choosing the first one,
Mm-hmm.
let's just any.
Any of them? Out
count.
of the top results.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough.
Good. What is the worst?
Oh gosh. What is the worst team in the World Cup?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
What is the worst food?
Nope. It is what is the worst injury? What is the worst energy drink for you?
Oh boy.
What is the worst soda to drink? What is the worst cancer? What is the worst tornado in history? And then what is the worst sin?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are all good.
There's no unpardonable sin. All right. Well, that one wasn't as fun as I was hoping it would be.
At least they were all
You know what I
appropriate.
genuinely enjoy? Well, I mean, that's arguable.
Well, yeah.
The doctor one was,
Well, yeah.
we cut it out.
Yeah, as
It
it
was a
should
little
have
bit
been.
weird.
Yeah, as it should have been. I can't believe people are searching by that
That's
stuff.
sad.
It's really sad.
It's creepy.
So that's what I wonder, if it's like a kid that's searching it and they don't feel like they can talk to their parents about that kind of stuff, or what. That's what scares me.
I don't know, but there is always supposed to be a nurse in the room, even if the parent is not.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. There's got to be some. That's just. It seems to be. I don't know if it's the first thing that popped up. I'm curious to know how many times that's being searched, honestly, just randomly on the internet.
Okay, but do you remember that a doctor slapped me on the butt one time?
Vaguely.
It was a long time ago.
Vaguely.
So, I mean, I guess it's not.
I don't know. Vaguely.
It might be more common than we'd like to admit.
I have no clue.
I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I remember being, like, really taken aback, and a nurse was in the room.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. Very weird. And I was a full-grown woman.
No.
Okay, so last episode we said if we got a new review on Apple, we would read it. So I'm going to read it.
Yeah, we did. We finally got one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't check last week, but okay. This one says, it is from Kristen. Says, a good mix of serious and light. Hearing Rachel and Steven's story in their own words after what they've been through so much is inspiring. They have persevered and kept their faith even in the hardest of trials. I love how they have incorporated laughter into their podcast, because laughter truly is the best medicine. Covering your sweet family in prayers. Thank you for sharing your story. That's very sweet. Thank
Very
you, Kristen,
much
and we
so.
love you because she's our friend.
Yeah, that's right. That's okay.
I wasn't going to keep pretending like
That's
she's
right.
not.
It's okay.
Love you, Kristen.
I'll send you your check this week.
No. We do need to go visit them, though.
Yep. 100%.
You want to get into the meat?
Yeah, I guess we can.
Not that kind.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know what.
I want to know really quick. Last week.
Wait a minute.
No. I want to know last week.
Bring it.
Did you enjoy going through my bag? Because I genuinely liked that. That was a fun episode.
I thought it was interesting.
Was it?
Sure.
Was
Yeah.
it? I've been meaning to ask you. So like, it typically would be frowned upon for a man to like go through a woman's bag. So did you feel like it was like an itch that you finally got to scratch?
No, I never really cared that much to look through it.
Why was it interesting then?
I don't know, just seeing what was in there.
Well, then it had to have been like something that's, because like, I don't know. It's
But
like
it wasn't like an itch. I mean, it was just more of a curiosity than it was
like
anything
something
else,
that like y'all aren't typically allowed to do.
Well, but it wasn't sitting there like,
No, I know, but I'm just
like,
saying.
you
like,
know what I mean.
It
wasn't just like
it's an
prodding my
unspoken
brain like I wonder what Rachel's got in that big bag. Like, no.
You can look through it anytime you want, but it's an unspoken rule. You shouldn't go through a woman's bag.
Wow.
Obviously, the husband doesn't count.
Well,
but
that's what I mean. How's it not count? For me, it don't matter.
no, but I'm just saying, like in general.
But
as a
yeah,
man.
I mean, I assume if you're dating somebody or
don't do
you're
that.
not married to them, I would not definitely, be
I mean,
okay
if you're
with
going
that.
if you're going through someone's bag and you're married, then I think you have bigger conversations you should be having with each other. Like, I don't mind it. I'm just saying, if you feel the need to snoop through a bag, there might be something that you need to talk about.
Oh, well, I guess it's the motivation behind it, because
Well, I meant like snooping, like suspicion
So
or whatever.
that's the motivation.
Yeah, so I'm saying if that's the case, then
because there's plenty of reasons I may have to get into the
no,
bag
I
for
don't
something.
mean like that. I mean like if you're snooping in secret through your wife's bag, then I would say you probably have things you need to discuss.
I would say not probably. I would say you do.
Yeah.
100%.
So with that being said, since we said we laugh first, before I do that, if you guys would subscribe, that would help us tremendously. 75% don't. And leave a review on Apple, or can you leave reviews on Spotify? I don't even know if you can.
Crap, I don't
If you
even
can,
know.
great. If not, if you're listening on Spotify and you're not subscribed, if you're listening on Apple and you're not subscribed, just hit the little plus thing wherever it's at. And it just helps tremendously. And we're here to get the word out about all kinds of different things and help, and so
Yep.
and we've been through I don't know, some not so great fun things.
Well, life's not perfect, but it's one of those things that, you know, just goes to show you it's what we got here is real. We don't really script much of it. I mean, we do. I mean,
we have
I guess
like
with some of the
or
prompts,
whatever,
but I mean, it's just a real thing. Like, we just talk about what happened throughout the week.
Which is exactly why this episode is the way it is, because, you know, we're talking about something that happened this week.
We try to relate to a lot of people that are kind of the same way. I mean, you just never know. I mean, you've got trials that you go through. You never know what you're going to get the next day. You've got kids that, you know, you got a parent and still try to keep everything together and all that. I mean, it's just one of them things.
According to people's Google searches, are going through an awful lot.
Yeah, I would say it is. I would probably say right now that the world is struggling a lot with everything.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I mean, I know we are too. I just wish there was a way to help more people with that, but genuinely.
For Jeff Bezos to give away all his money.
Yeah, well, that won't happen.
So a friend of mine told me last week, I think you were on speaker maybe or something, that no one is ever going to advocate for you like you're going to advocate for you. And no one is ever going to advocate for Mila like you and I are going to advocate for Mila. And she said, it freaking stinks. She used other words, but it freaking stinks when you figure that out. And then she paused and she said to me, and you just figured that out, girl. And so that's what we're talking about today. I will say, just for my privacy and, you know, other privacy concerns, a couple of things have been changed, you know, pronouns and dates and things like that. But otherwise, the story is intact. So, and we're going to tell it like we do every time there's a new story to tell, because we're racking them up right now, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. When did you realize the professionals weren't going to care enough to do the job to the best of their ability?
After a specific call.
Okay.
That was like the moment where I knew he wasn't going to do what he'd been paid to do. Mm-hmm. And it was up to me. That was the moment it was solidified. There were some red flags before that he threw, but yeah, last week on a call, and it stunk. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, really stunk. Did you figure it out too at the same time, or do you feel like you were kind of further along to get there, that he wasn't doing it. He wasn't doing his job.
I mean, I probably figured it out the night before, I would say, maybe.
Night before what?
Well, when...
The night before the call?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you figured it out before me, is what you're saying?
Maybe the way that it was done.
That it was going.
I kind of had an idea, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, because there was a scrambling last minute, and there was just a lot of things that were going on that were leading me to think that this is unfortunately probably going the way that I feared it would. And I think the thing about that really stunk is that it's like when you've got so much in your life, you want to be able to hand something over to somebody, you know, especially somebody that you're paying. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, and then you have real faith that person is doing their job, and then the rug is pulled out from under you, that's a terrible feeling.
Yep.
It genuinely is. And honestly, I don't know how some people that don't have the ability to sit and just pour themselves into the work and do it for the person that's not, I don't know how they do it. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess they just roll over and just take whatever circumstance they're dealt.
Either that or they don't know any different. That's probably what it is. They take the advice, whether or not right or wrong, mm-hmm. Whether or not it's actually accurate, because they don't know any
question.
Different.
Yeah. And
they don't question it because they hide behind that profession, the one on the other end.
Yeah.
And they say, I am this, so I know this, or mm-hmm. I think I know this. And in reality now, I think a lot of times that these professionals, regardless of what industry you're in, better be careful, because the amount of information that is out there to everyone now to go out and research, it's just good checks and balances. This is not like it was 50 years ago where you go into an office and let's just say it's a doctor, right? I'm just saying randomly.
I mean, that's a perfect example.
I mean, you go into a doctor's office 50 years ago, he tells you what's wrong with you, and you take that as
you don't have any other way of verifying
You take it as gold because you don't. The only thing that you've got is his profession and what he's been through to go through school to do it. Well, nowadays, you've got different avenues to check on things. And sometimes I will tell you that, yes, the doctor may make the final call now, but for the most part, you're able to self-diagnose yourself a lot of things that's going on with you. So that's all I mean by that, is just trying to give a little bit of context of, that, I mean, you better know what you're doing nowadays for sure.
Yeah. I will say with the doctors, absolutely true. Yeah. As a patient, you have to be careful because there's a lot of misinformation out there. 100%. And if you're getting your medical information from social media, that's not a medical professional. That's not it.
That's correct. Or TikTok or all that other garbage that's out
there.
If
they don't have an MD, a DO, an RN, or, Okay, so after that interruption, our kid just sent an announcement through Alexa.
Anyway, we were talking about the doctor. You were saying you need to be careful with where you get your information. You don't need to get it off of just random Google and the TikToks and all the other stuff that's there. You've got to be able, if you're going to do your own research, is to be able to make sure the sources you're looking for are verified.
Yeah, and then take those sources to your doctor.
Correct, yes.
And I was saying, if they don't hold an MD, a DO, or an RN, or an LPN, or whatever, like if they are not a licensed medical professional, and I would go so far as to say homeopathic and chiropractor, that ain't it, okay? Sorry, hate me if you want, no. If they're not a licensed medical professional, you need to, don't listen to it. Or if you have questions about it, bring it to your doctor. A great resource, too, for some of that stuff that is out there is somebody like Dr. Mike or Mama Dr. Jones or Dr. Jeff Yu, because they will watch things and then they'll react to it. Jeff Yu does a little bit more serious stuff, but Dr. Mike and Mama Dr. Jones both will watch some of the medical TikToks, especially Dr. Mike, and then correct it. And so if you want to go watch that, do that, because it's a great educational resource. Otherwise, don't just talk to your doctor. And I would say that goes for our podcast too. Anytime that we talk about something medical, there is a disclaimer in the description of our podcast for a reason. I have some medical experience, but I am not a medical professional, and I am not here giving medical advice, and you should not take medical advice from me or any of us, and talk to your doctor. So,
well, you know how I feel about the medical stuff. It's just not.
Well, it's boring to him, but I mean,
don't ever take it from me. If you do, you're going down you just don't.
But we're not going to be giving any, okay? Yeah. And if we talk about a medication, if we talk about, something that a doctor prescribed or did or whatever, that doesn't mean that applies to you. And I think we're going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, but I think doctors are getting better in the sense that some of them still do hide behind the degree. But being a medical parent, I can tell now within the first 30 to 60 seconds of an encounter whether the doctor is that type of doctor. And I have, throughout my career in medicine, but then also as a patient, and then having Mila, and then you having your stroke, and then all the things that we've been through. I've said it here on this podcast before, but I have encountered literally thousands of doctors, and I couldn't even quantify how many. And so I've gotten to the point now where 30, 60 seconds tops, and I know what kind of doctor we're talking about, and I know what kind of attitude they're going to have towards educated questions. For me, I have enough medical knowledge to ask questions that are not coming from online, like they're coming from my brain. But regardless of that, it doesn't even matter whether they're coming from online or my brain. The doctor, the way they respond is telling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If they welcome the questions, that's appreciated, and that's how it's supposed to be. But if they immediately bristle or they don't like those questions being asked, Dr. Mean in that episode that I did was a perfect example of that.
Yep.
And I think other professions, you know, not going into specifics in the story from, you know, this week or last week or whatever, they do it too. And I think that perhaps that profession might be a little slower to catch up. I also think that there's a situation where maybe he is misreading his client as someone who just is not, I don't know. My suspicion is he misread me as, okay, as a yes woman, you know, and someone who's not going to go behind and check and start asking questions. But if I start seeing stuff that's looking a little, and that's the thing too, here's the thing with this is like, when we're talking about a professional, I mean, with doctors, like I can usually tell pretty quick, but if we're talking about any professional, I usually give them the benefit of the doubt right away. It's when the red flags are thrown, because I don't have that specific degree that, you know, we're talking about, right? So when the red flags are thrown, then the benefit of the doubt is retracted. Now I have to go babysit. Now I have to go say, wait a minute, now I'm concerned, you know? And in this particular instance, I did not want to be concerned. That was the last thing I wanted. I fought against that concern. I really did. I wanted to believe with everything in me that this was not a situation that was going to be like that.
Yeah. And we don't have time to be concerned. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter.
No,
we don't have
we
time
don't.
to be concerned.
And that's the problem, is that I can't keep taking these things on. And I don't know what it says about, like, I don't know if it's work ethic. I don't know if it's experience. I don't know if it is money. I don't know. But something's broken in the world and just everything.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like you would encounter that too in any profession, degree or not, fancy degree or not, expensive degree or not. You're going to encounter people that need to be babysat, you know? Yeah. I mean, I have managed people directly before, and I have only ever managed one person that required zero babysitting. Now, at first, I would, you know, check up what that person was doing, but
well, you have to.
Yeah, but I quickly learned he requires zero babysitting and also is going to catch balls if I drop them. That is my friend said, a diamond in the rough. They you don't find that. So the next question I wrote down was, when you see me disappearing into the laptop for 10 to 12 hours a day, doing something that he was supposed to do, how does that make you feel specifically?
Well, frustrated, because number one, and it's selfish on my part, but it's like I've got to take on more stuff. You know, that could have been, I don't know, maybe offloaded. You know, I mean, it's just
yeah. Well, I mean, I could be cleaning.
Well, I mean, it's not just that.
Well, no, I mean, like, that's what I was.
I mean, that's sure, but I mean, with the same time, that's not like what I expect you to do.
I just didn't want you to feel like that was something you couldn't say. That's why I interrupted you.
No, I mean, I would say it if it is, but I mean, there's just things like being able to do like meal plans and all that type of stuff. Like, I've got to take that on again because, you know, it's like you're focused on that and you have
buried
to
alive
be
again.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, it's something I was like, I took that on because I wanted to be helpful. And now I've got to take that on, you know, again, because people can't do
Well, we had talked about here on this podcast that I could probably reasonably start taking back over the meal plans if you were able to cook.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that many episodes ago that we said that.
Yeah.
And then here we are again, 10 to 12 hours. I mean, like, literally 10 to 12 hours. I realized the other day I took Mila to speech therapy, and I was like, this is the first time I've been outside in 5 days or something like that. That's not okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Yep.
And you know what? I mean, I'll just pull myself up by my bootstraps and get it done, but it just should not have to happen.
Yeah.
It's just not okay. Anything else as far as how it affects you? Because I cut you off a little bit. I didn't mean to.
Well, no, it's fine. I don't want to make it just all about me.
No,
because,
I'm asking you.
I mean, it's one of those things, too, that, like, I understand it affects you. It takes away from time where you may want to be doing other things and you can't. So I want to make sure that, like, I make that point where, yes, it does affect me, but, like, again, we're partners, so we pick up what each other can't do, and that's what we're supposed to do for each other.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating because, yeah, it may be extra rest for you, or it may be where, yeah, you can do the meal plan and order groceries, or it may be like, hey, I've got time where I can, clean the bathroom or whatever else it is, or even something as simple as taking the kid to the park. Like,
yeah, seriously.
I mean, it's simple sounding, but, I mean, it's just part of it. So, yeah, I mean.
We just want some oxygen.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
We just both need oxygen, and I mean that from both of our perspective. But since you asked me, yeah, I did come up and say, yeah, I mean, personally, yeah.
I asked you, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, oxygen, it would be great. And eventually, hopefully, we'll get that, where we can get to the point where there'll be some, where we don't have to continually rely on other people. I mean, crap, I made a comment to my wonderful boss about that not too long ago.
About this situation?
No, it's just about, like, you hand somebody something and you can't trust them to do it.
Not
you
usually.
have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
She always tells me it's just easier just do it yourself.
Well, and I think that can become enabling. I'm not saying she's doing that. I'm just saying in general.
No, it is, because other people that don't take that initiative or want to do it will know that you will.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, they'll just expect and expect and expect, and then they don't have that drive or determination to learn and try to get it. Because I don't know.
I would have to fight that when I was managing people, to tell myself, like, you have to delegate, even though it is faster for you to do this yourself. Mm-hmm. But the delegation was specific to who I was delegating to, because I would still delegate, but then it would come back and the product that I was given was something I had to just basically redo.
Exactly.
And it's like, I mean, okay, this is not it. And then at that point, like, it's not, I mean, I'm sure that she knows she'll be listening to this. You don't have time to train them. Like, you don't have time to sit there and be like, this is where and they may not even be teachable. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that the work I'm doing right now is going to rescue it, not me rescue it necessarily, but me rescue it just enough to hand it over to another person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm genuinely hoping is going to happen. Yeah. And that's why I'm working so hard on it.
Yeah. But the point still stands, though. It doesn't matter, like, who it is. They're still never going to work as hard for something than you will yourself.
No.
I mean, they just won't.
And in this situation, what I've learned is I learned he needs babysitting. So there's no way that I'm not going to be babysitting regardless of what happens next. The next thing that I had written down was kind of just how it affected the family and weekends and all that kind of stuff. But I think we've sort of already talked about that. I would say, for the most part, weekends are non-existent for me right now. And I mean, we're filming this episode right now on a Monday evening, which is not ideal. We typically film Sundays. Yep. I'm editing on Mondays. It's probably going to go out late. I don't imagine I'll be able to get it up tomorrow. I'm going to try. But, it's just one of those things where it's like, there's just no ability to breathe, to have oxygen. Yeah. And I'm exhausted. I'm tired. Like, my brain by the end of the day is just toast,
Well, that's what I meant when I talked a little while ago about how when one of us goes down, it affects a lot. Like yesterday, we were going to record, but you didn't feel well. Like it.
Yeah, well, I genuinely just didn't feel well.
But that's what I mean. Like when we have days like that, like it does, it affects. Like, and I'm not It's not anything on you. I just want you to understand, like, when we go down and have to handle something for a day, I mean, it affects everything else down the line. It just does. That's just the way it is.
And I will say, too, for clarification, because I was sick yesterday or not feeling well anyways, so we didn't film. But when I said that we're here editing on a Monday because of that situation, that is still true. I was just working on that situation because I wasn't feeling well. So it was like, okay, I'm not feeling well. It's not like I can just take a sick day and be like, I'm just going to sit in the bed and watch whatever. No, I was working. I worked 12 hours yesterday. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Sick days just push the podcast filming and then get replaced by something else. I mean, the perfect example would be the fact that I think Saturday I was actually going to put it down and clean, remember?
Yeah.
And I had this whole plan, and Claude had like written out like a schedule for me, and I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to, and yeah, it just stinks because it takes away from everybody. It takes away from the family. It's a ripple effect. You know, it starts with me, and then it affects everyone else, you know, because now mom's gone, basically. She's here, but not really. And in this particular situation, it's also, I don't know if you've noticed, but escalated my anxiety because of what I'm having to do.
Yeah.
Like intense. It's tough, emotionally, mentally draining.
Yeah, I can tell.
And I'm having to relive things that I didn't ever want to have to relive.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just, it has a ripple effect on everybody.
All right. So what is the single hardest thing about carrying multiple huge, life-altering, and feeling alone, even if professionals technically exist?
Feeling like I'm the only one that's actually going to do it right. Also feeling like it's endless. What's the next one? You know, is there going to be another one? We don't know how long Mila's Cap C Superior Court situation will last. I mean, we're in Superior Court right now. And I'll go to the North Carolina Court of Appeals next if I have to. I will appeal to the North Carolina Supreme Court after that. I don't know what levels after that, but I'll go there too. Like, we'll keep going. So I don't know how long. But I think in that situation, it's like, it's almost a relief because like my friend said, no one's going to advocate for Mila like you and I are. So it's almost like in that particular situation, I feel like I'm better off. You know, do I wish that someone was holding that bag? Yes. Do I trust them to care enough? Absolutely not.
No,
not a chance. And I feel like at this point with Mila's specific situation, I know her case backwards and forwards. And I know everything about her medical file. Like I know all of that, you know, bringing an attorney up to speed on that would be like, there's no point. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to say there's no point. That's not true. The higher we get, the more I'm going to need help.
Yeah, I was about to say there would be.
Yeah, but where we're at right now, it's I don't know. Like, I know the file in a way that they're not going to have the time to, right? I mean, I don't have the time to, but like I have to. It's my child. You know, they have other clients, and so they're not going to learn the file the way that I learned it. Now, I don't have a law degree. I'm not pretending that I do. But she's my child, you know?
No.
And so, but yeah, I mean, as far as like multiple huge life altering, things, I'm just straight up exhausted. And I don't mean physically. I mean, mentally and emotionally. I think my depression has taken a bit of a hit the last week or so. Not just because of what I'm having to do as far as like reliving stuff, but just another systemic failure, kind of, in a way. Like another failure of someone or people or whatever you want to say. Like, in just me feeling like, okay, well, this is important enough. I've got to pick it up. I don't have a choice.
No.
This isn't something I can say, whatever, I've got to pick it up.
Right.
And I'm tired.
Sure.
And yeah, it's made me feel a little bit more of that sinking depression of not anything scary, but just kind of like, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to do whatever. Like, even just basic self-care has gotten a little bit harder because I'm just like, what's the point? I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to be sitting right here in the same bed doing the same thing. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
And then I guess just immense pressure. Not necessarily at the stage I'm at right now with this particular matter, but like, I know I'll get this one right. But what happens after that, if situation goes, there's a fork in the road and we go left or right, if I have to go right, that pressure is enormous. And that fear of going right is enormous. Are you following the right-hand turn there? And one day we will genuinely tell this actual story in detail, or maybe I will, or whatever. But for right now, I think the main takeaway that we wanted this episode to be was really focusing in on when systems, when professionals, when people that are supposed to be doing something, that are supposed to be helping, that are supposed to be advocating, or that are even getting paid to do it, fail. I mean, that's really the message and the takeaway. Not to tell some ambiguous story, but to talk about what it feels like when multiple people that are supposed to be helping you fail, or one, or whatever, and you're left to pick up the pieces. Because I mean, we're not the only ones.
There's plenty of others, I'm sure, that deal with the same thing every day.
And some, I'm sure, choose not to fight it, and others are probably like me and they fight it. And I mean, my friend is a perfect example. I know that she's been through a similar situation and has gotten on a flight and gone and fought it. So yeah, I'm not the only neurotic person that is like, all right, well, pulling my sleeves up and I'm just going to get it done. So the last question I was going to ask you, I know I sat down and I walked you through the reason that I had to do what I am having to do, what he did, what happened, and kind of the circumstances around it. So my question was, does that make you angry or more sad?
Both. I mean,
you want to unpack that a little bit?
I can, yeah. I mean, both, because anger because a professional is supposed to be doing what the professional is supposed to do and what they're going to be getting paid to do, or it might not get paid to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is that you pay for a service. That service is supposed to be done to the highest of their ability.
Yep.
And, number two, sad because, you'll never, no one else is going to do the job that you yourself will fight to do.
Yeah.
They're never going to have that passion that you've got. I mean, even if you are passionate in that industry, if it doesn't personally affect you and you have some kind of emotional pull with it, you're still not going to have that, just personal, I guess, aspect with it as you would if you're intimately connected with it.
I would say
that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say I was just thinking about medical professionals. I think they have more. I know they have more of an emotional pull.
Yeah.
Because we've seen them genuinely deeply care and have an emotional, whatever.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's not. I mean, I take my sister, for example. I mean, she deals with a lot of that, and I know some of that stuff personally affects her and her mood and how that works. I mean, I know that. I understand.
I think every medical professional, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Unless they're hardened by it.
Yeah, and maybe some are that way
sure.
because they can't allow it to emotionally affect them, and that negatively affects the job that they do, and that. So I get that part. I just mean, like, for us, when we're dealing with it, we're intimately involved in this situation.
Yeah.
So we are going to really, really deeply care and have the work ethic that it needs to make sure that it's done the right way.
Do you think if we had like $1 million to hire, something worth $1 million, that it would be different?
Maybe. I mean, truthfully, it literally may be. I mean, some people say
think it's money.
Well, some people, I guess it's.
See, I don't know. In this situation with him, I don't think it is money.
I don't know.
I don't think it's money.
But there is.
I think it's laziness.
Well, and that's what I don't know. But I will tell you though that, there are times where that saying is true. You pay for what you get.
That's not applying in this situation, in my opinion.
I don't know.
But I can't really go into detail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. There's literally times, though, where I do feel like that statement is true. There's a reason that those professionals that are of a high level and make that kind of money, there's a reason people that have money pay those people that insane amount.
Yeah.
Is because they're extremely good at what they do.
But who's to say they don't need to be babysat?
Well,
if you really dug into their stuff.
Well, I don't know. If they had to be babysat, do you think they would continue to get those type of customers? Because those customers don't have time to fool and babysit them. I genuinely think that, again, that may be my opinion, and I may be dead off on it. But if you are a professional up there and you're at the highest of your professions, then I don't feel like you've got clients that are going to sit there and babysit you. They don't have time for that. I just look at it like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I feel like I can just compare it to Suits. I love that show, Suits, with Harvey and them. And I feel like that's why Harvey was up there, is because Harvey knew that professional in the back in front of his head. I understand it's not like 100% one-to-one comparable, but that's why he had the clients he had, is because they knew he was the best of the best. And
he had a lot of experience, though. And
that he knew how to get the outcome that they wanted.
I don't know, though, because Jessica babysat him.
I don't know. I mean, maybe in some different types of things, like I said, it doesn't apply like one-to-one.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, there is a reason that that he got paid what he got, because he was.
We'll find out in this particular situation whether it is he is lazy or lack of experience. We'll know pretty soon.
Exactly.
We'll know pretty soon what it is.
Yeah. But those people that are at the top of the profession, they don't lack experience. They know.
Oh, you're talking about the experienced ones don't lack experience.
They do not lack experience. They know what they're doing, and there's a reason they're there.
Yeah.
But again, even with that, even if we had, let's say that there was a medical professional that was at the highest of the high.
Well, we do. Like Mila's epileptologist in Boston, Dr. Pearl.
Right. But even so, all I'm meaning to say by that is that they still won't have the emotional pull towards it to make sure that it is done the way maybe we feel like it should be. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
I mean, I think with medical professionals, it's probably a little different, but it also probably varies greatly depending on the medical professional.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess I feel like the emotional aspect of it, we're always going to have more of that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it
comes
back around to what my friend said, is no one's going to advocate for you like you're going to advocate for you. And no one's going to advocate for Mila like we're going to advocate for her. Yeah. We just don't necessarily have that high degree. So then it requires like a crash course in that high degree to ask the right questions. How about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, and like I said at the beginning of this episode, now you're able to research stuff. I'm able to research stuff that years and years ago, we would not have been able to do so. And therefore would have had to take in the word of these professionals.
And if you're going to go into an industry where you're, let's just say, going past your bachelor's degree, you should be expecting educated clients. However they come about their education, you should be expecting it.
Yep.
You know, mine happens to be a lot of professional experience mixed with the ability to also research on my own. So like I can kind of combine those two things together. Regardless of the fact, though, like in today's day and age, if you're going to go past your bachelor's, let's say, and you're going to enter one of those, or I would say any professional customer service oriented profession, you need to be ready to have educated clients because they're going to ask questions and you need to be ready to answer those, which puts more pressure on the professionals than I think it should. Because if they don't have as much invested in it personally, then at least maybe if they are expecting their clients to be asking such hard questions, maybe they'll, you know, be doing a lot of continuing education to stay up to speed on what is the latest, if it's a doctor, latest research, latest studies, latest medications, latest whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was going to say, is that it's good. It keeps them accountable.
Yeah.
To continue that education and to continue to learn and want to, you know, see what else is out there. Because I really do. I feel like years ago, you know, I made the comparison at the beginning 50 years ago. I mean, we wouldn't know nothing. I mean, we wouldn't know any different. There was nothing to challenge them on. There was nothing to question them on.
You'd have to go to a library.
You literally would. You would have to do that. And
it's
now,
not even 50 years ago. It's more like 30.
Well, I mean, 50 years ago is really not that.
We're in our 30s. 30 years ago, we'd have to go to a library.
Well, I mean...
We're that old.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I just mean that, you know, it's a lot of that stuff before it became digitized, and it's out there now with AI where it can basically, it's at the snap of your fingers.
Yeah.
You go out and you do that.
Yeah.
You can pull that information now from anywhere and pull it from reputable sources as long as you do that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the beautiful part about it is now I think a lot of those higher medical professionals or even lawyers or whatever else it is, top of your profession, a lot of times probably them now are putting their knowledge into
they're using it.
The AI. Well, they're using it, but they're also putting their knowledge because AI is only as good as the information you feed it. So those top of the top professionals are putting their knowledge into it, which is even making it better.
Yeah.
And it's becoming instantaneous now.
Well, I will say with medical professionals, just to clarify, they have their own AI. So I don't want anybody to think that they're like just hanging out on ChatGPT.
No,
they're not.
Sure
they have their. No, I know they do. They've told me they have their own. So like, but yeah, I think the one caveat or like caution I would say is we're not saying with this new digital age that we now all of a sudden can know as much.
Gosh, no.
What we are saying is we can have enough information to ask educated questions to realize there's a problem, then to go ask another professional for another opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Doctors, lawyers, bankers, like whatever profession you want, right? If you don't have that degree, don't act like you have that degree. No. You don't. But you can ask the right questions and you can see the red flags and you can realize with enough research there's a problem here.
No.
You know, and then you can take it and go either up the chain or you can go get a second opinion or hold them accountable. But it still goes back to the person that holds that higher degree because they hold that higher degree, but it doesn't necessarily go back to that same one.
Yeah.
It could go to a second opinion doctor or a third opinion doctor or a second opinion lawyer or whatever the case may be, right? But you still want to divert back to that
Well,
profession.
And I want to bring up another point too where I understand where it could, having this kind of information out there, if you don't know what you're doing, I could definitely see from a doctor's perspective or a lawyer's perspective or something like that, where they could get annoyed because, these random people are bringing up these questions. They're like, why are you asking me this? Like, this is like elementary. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? But I think there has to be, and I think it is becoming that way the more and more we go, but there has to be a mindset change and a shift where years ago I wouldn't get asked these questions. Well, now the information's out there. I'm going to be asked that. And it has to be more of if it's a doctor or a lawyer or whatever else it is, it needs to be more educational.
I think it is, at least with the medical professional. It is. They are shifting in that direction. Now, some of I'm not saying every medical professional, but I am saying I do consume enough medical content from real medical professionals to know that they are shifting to welcoming questions. Like Dr. Mike, for example, I mean, I'm not his patient, so I can't say for sure whether this is true, but I assume it is. Welcomes people bringing in studies or whatever and asking, because it's better that they ask him rather than TikTok or YouTube or AI, right? So there is a shift that's happening, and I've seen it even with Mila's doctors, where I've had doctors and my questions with them come a lot more from like some professional experience and then personal experience that we've had. It doesn't mean I don't ever look up anything. I'm just saying I'm medically literate to a degree, right? And so, no, I'm not a medical professional, but I can ask enough questions. So what I've seen is there are some that genuinely welcome it and that appreciate it. And there are some that don't. And it's not age. It doesn't seem to be experience. It doesn't seem to be whatever. But it just seems to be there's some that do and some that don't. But I am seeing more of a shift towards welcoming it. And I think that's probably, I would assume, I don't know, but I'm assuming going to be if it's not already, will start being addressed in medical school or nursing school or whatever, where, people are going to be asking questions, and it is moving into more of a patient-centered approach for the most part. So doctor still obviously has to write the orders and the prescriptions and whatnot, but a lot of it is like conversation between doctor and patient, deciding, best course of action. Other professions might be slower to catch up, but for the most part, I think in the medical profession, at least from the very limited view I have, it seems to be shifting in the right direction.
Yep.
But again, I would still caveat that by saying, especially with medicine, you still have to trust the actual medical professionals.
100%.
Even if that's even if your source is a research study that is peer reviewed, that you pulled, and you can bring the study number and then ask a medical professional, if you still don't feel comfortable, seek another opinion from another doctor, not a non-doctor, doctor. Go ask another one. And you can ask as many as you want, right? Yeah. Don't go find somebody in working out of a bus or something but there's a million doctors out there, so go find one. Go
ask somebody that'll explain it to you to where you understand.
Yeah, once you have that doctor-patient relationship with a doctor that you trust, and we are collecting those with us now that we live here.
Yep.
And for Mila, those are better than, once you have those, you're good. You're solid. So. With that being said, we need to eat our Arby's that is most likely cold.
Fair enough. That's
and
all right.
Y'all stay tuned for episode 34. I think we are officially past the half-year point.
Are we?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know.
I guess we would be, because we got 52 weeks in a year, right? Is that right?
The 50, something like that. I don't
know.
That. If you enjoyed this episode, I'm gonna link a similar one where I told a story about something that a doctor wrote in our daughter's chart. here, and then I'm also going to link another one where I read direct quotes from our daughter's Cap C hearing, and that was both of those were shining a light in the dark. So if you liked this one, you'll like those. They'll be linked, and hit the subscribe button. It's going to be somewhere on this screen.
Yep.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.